Have you ever wondered what kind of apartment you could get in New York City for $2,000 a month? If you're moving to the US from Europe, you might be imagining a spacious flat with a view of the skyline, maybe even a balcony where you can sip your morning coffee. But is that reality? Or just a dream? Today I'm diving deep into the world of New York City rentals to show you exactly what $2,000 a month can get you. And trust me, the results might surprise you. Let's start with the basics. New York City is famous for a lot of things. The Statue of Liberty, Broadway, pizza, and of course, sky-high rent prices. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan is now over $4,000 a month. That's right, $4,000. So, what happens if your budget is half that? First, you have to decide which borough do you want to live in. Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, or Staten Island. Each one offers a completely different vibe, commute, and most importantly, price point. For $2,000 a month in Manhattan, you're looking at studios or very small one-bedrooms, usually in older buildings, sometimes with shared amenities. Let's take a look at what's actually on the market. I spent hours scrolling through rental listings, talking to real estate agents, and even visiting a few apartments myself. Here's what I found. In Manhattan, $2,000 a month will usually get you a studio apartment, meaning your bedroom, living room, and kitchen are all in one space. These studios are often between 200 and 400 square feet. That's about the size of a hotel room, or even smaller. The kitchens are usually tiny, with just a mini fridge, a two-burner stove, and a microwave. Closet space is limited, and you might not have room for a dining table. The bathroom, think compact. Sometimes just a shower, toilet, and a tiny sink squeezed together. But here's the thing. You're in Manhattan. You can walk to Central Park, grab coffee from world-famous cafes, and the city's energy is right outside your door. For many people, that's worth the trade-off. If you're willing to look outside Manhattan, your options open up. In Brooklyn, especially neighborhoods like Williamsburg or Greenpoint, $2,000 can get you a slightly larger studio or even a small one-bedroom. The buildings are often newer and you might get a bit more space, maybe even a dishwasher or a small balcony. The vibe is more relaxed, with cool restaurants, parks, and a strong sense of community. The commute to Manhattan is usually 20 to 40 minutes by subway, depending on where you live. Queens is another popular option. For $2,000 a month, you can find a one-bedroom apartment, sometimes even in a modern building with amenities like a gym or laundry room. Neighborhoods like Astoria and Long Island City are favorites for young professionals and expats. You'll find a mix of cultures, amazing food, and a slightly slower pace than Manhattan. If you're really looking for value, the Bronx and Staten Island offer the most space for your money. In the Bronx, $2,000 can get you a two-bedroom apartment, sometimes even with a separate dining room or home office. Staten Island is quieter and more suburban, and you'll get even more space, but the commute into Manhattan is longer and less convenient. But let's talk about what you actually get for your money. Most New York City apartments, especially at this price point, come unfurnished. That means you'll need to buy or rent your own furniture, which can add up quickly. Some landlords require a broker's fee, which is often 10 to 15% of the annual rent. So, for a $2,000 apartment, that's a one-time fee of $2,400 to $3,600 just to sign the lease. Not all listings have broker's fees, but it's something to watch out for. You'll also need to budget for utilities, electricity, heating, internet, and sometimes gas. These can add anywhere from $100 to $300 a month, depending on your usage and the building. Some apartments include heat and hot water in the rent, but always check the listing details. Now, let's talk about the rental process. In Europe, you might be used to meeting the landlord, signing a simple contract, and moving in within a few days. In New York, it's a whole different story. You'll need to provide proof of income, usually 40 times the monthly rent. That means for a $2,000 apartment, landlords want to see an annual salary of $80,000. If you don't meet this requirement, you'll often need a guarantor, someone usually based in the US, who agrees to pay the rent if you can't. Credit history is another big hurdle for newcomers. Most landlords want to see a US credit score. If you're moving from Europe, you probably don't have one yet. Some landlords will accept international credit reports or allow you to pay several months' rent up front as a security deposit. There are also companies that will act as guarantors for a fee, but this adds to your moving costs. The application process can be competitive and fast-paced. Good apartments often get rented within a day or two of being listed. You'll need to act quickly, have your documents ready, and be prepared to make a decision on the spot. It's stressful, but it's the reality of the New York City rental market. So, what does $2,000 a month really get you? Here's a quick summary. In Manhattan, a small studio in an older building, usually 200 to 400 square feet, with basic amenities and an unbeatable location. In Brooklyn, a slightly larger studio or a small one-bedroom, possibly in a newer building, with a more relaxed vibe and a bit more space. In Queens, a true one-bedroom, sometimes with building amenities in a diverse and vibrant neighborhood. In the Bronx or Staten Island, a two-bedroom or larger, with much more space, but a longer commute. But here's the most important thing. Living in New York City is about more than just your apartment. The city itself becomes your living room, your backyard, your playground. You'll spend your days exploring neighborhoods, trying new foods, meeting people from all over the world, and experiencing the energy that only New York can offer. If you're moving from Europe, be prepared for some culture shock. Apartments are smaller, rents are higher, and the process is more complicated. But if you're flexible, do your research and act fast. You can find a place that fits your needs and your budget. Here are my top tips for renting in New York City as a newcomer. Start your search early. The market moves fast, but it helps to know what's out there before you arrive. Have your documents ready, proof of income, bank statements, ID, and any references you can get. Consider working with a relocation agent or a broker who specializes in expats. They can help you navigate the process and avoid scams. Be flexible about the location. The more open you are to different neighborhoods, the better your chances of finding a great place. Budget for extra costs. Brokers' fees, deposits, utilities, and furniture all add up. And finally, remember, your first apartment in New York probably won't be your dream home. It's a starting point, a place to land while you get settled, build your network, and explore the city. Most people move at least once or twice in their first few years here as they figure out what works best for them. So, is $2,000 enough to live in New York City? Yes, but you'll need to adjust your expectations and be ready for an adventure. If you want to see more apartment tours or have questions about renting in other US cities, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips, stories, and real-life advice about moving to the United States. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video helpful as you prepare for your move to the United States. If you found value in the information and advice provided, please consider supporting the podcast on Patreon. Your donations will allow us to continue creating new episodes and videos to help even more people with their relocation to America. Just visit patreon.com/movingtotheus to sign up. Until next time, best of luck with your move.